Hey, it's John here again. So this is beginning of episode 4, day 51. Just back from a 1-week vacation, and interesting developments here on our pond here. So the water is clear, but I did notice that this has fallen over somehow. I don't think it fell over by itself. I'm not sure an animal got in here or a bird or something. It looks like this started to grow. This is the mystery plant, the sensitive plant, I guess is what it was labeled. It looks like this is broken. Another thing too, the bubbler, that somehow moved. That was not there. It was back here. So I don't know how that moved on its own. I don't know. I just saw the fish, so that's good. I'm happy. But another thing that's interesting here is I just noticed there's a whole bunch of mosquito larvae. Shake this up, look down there, all that. That is a lot of mosquito larvae that just appeared in the last week here. And that's food for the fish. As far as the bamboo goes, as I strongly suspected from the start, this is not going to make it. It's looking pretty dead here. And so it must have got frozen in transit or something. I don't know what happened, but pretty much can tell how it arrives, what it's going to turn into. So anyway, that's unfortunate. See if we can get our money back or something on that. Day 62, these just arrived yesterday. I bought these on eBay about 3 or 4 days ago, and so they arrived promptly. This is Taro, so these are what the bulbs look like in the root form. Got 6 of them here for 12 bucks, so I think that was a pretty good deal. They're ready to plant. Now these things, they need warmth. So they need to be like 65 degrees or so, otherwise, because it's a tropical plant, so they need the warmth. And they also need some soil too. You can't just place them in water. So they have to have some soil, and then you could have it within shallow water, keep it really moist once they're growing. Because if they're not growing, there's a possibility they might rot. So you want to make sure that they're growing first, and then you can place them into the water. Okay, it's day 62, doing a general update here. So the first thing we've done is we've divided the canna. There were way too many bulbs in that one pot, so I divided it up. Unfortunately, crushed some of it in the process, but it looks to be coming back nicely here. So we've got a couple of them over here now. And then the original pot, and then a little one next to it. So that's looking really nice. And obviously our flowering plants here are flowering nicely. Another addition that we've done here is we've added some daylilies here. This is the first day that I've seen a flower. Those are supposed to bloom 1 flower per day, I believe. So as long as we have enough of them, we'll have multiple flowers there. So that's looking nice. That's a plant that prefers more of dirt than water, so I'll have it in a shallowly planted in the water. See how that does. And as far as other things here, I guess the lilies here are growing, but they have this kind of weird color going. I don't think that's supposed to be that color. I noticed that if it's in the shade, though, it stays green. So I'm not sure if it's getting too much sun. That's possible. It's pretty sunny here. And the fish are very happy. I just saw them a little bit. They're getting kind of fat, actually. The orange one looks like an orange golf ball, almost. It's gotten so fat. So it's been doing a really good work at taking out the mosquito larvae. We seem to get waves of it. It comes and it goes. It looks like now there's very little of it. Actually, a little bit right here. But they seem to be doing a good job of keeping that under control. And then other things that are really interesting is, as you recall, we started with 2 water hyacinth plants. Each one was about that size right there. So this one right here is become 2. So that's an interesting development here. So it's tied together here somewhere. So I could probably snip it and then separate them. But I'm leaving them bound together here. So that's interesting. So it's doubled. And then this one has done even better. Originally 1 has now become 3. So that's super cool. 2 plants become 5. So at the rate we're going here, by the end of summer, it's not even summer yet, by the end of summer we'll probably have 15 or maybe more. And as far as the pool area, as you can see, the water level has dropped a bit. So at the 2-month mark, it has dropped 4 inches. So that's about 2 inches per month. A little bit more than I was expecting, especially considering how cloudy it's been the last month and the cooler temperatures. So I think my original estimate of 12 inches might be closer to 18 or even 24 if it keeps going at this rate. So not sure how that's going to turn out. But anyway, the only thing we're using this water for currently is just to top off our bog area. So we do that. We're running the pump for about 5 minutes once a week, and that drops this down maybe a 1/4 inch or something, and then it tops off our other area up there. I noticed there's a lot of sea life, or maybe some aquatic life, like insects or something, but it's not mosquito larvae, it's something else. See some of it right there. There's something right there. See, swimming around. Weird bugs. There's different types of bugs swimming around in here. So every time we top off the pool or the bog with the pool water, a little bit of that gets transferred up. Oh, here's one right here too. Yeah, all kinds of stuff swimming in there. I don't know, insects. There's a bunch of it right here. See it all swimming around in there. So every time we transfer a little bit up to the bog area, it's additional food for the fish, so they don't mind. They actually like that a lot. Keeps a steady food supply for them. Eventually we'll start putting more plants down here as well. Okay, so our water hyacinth is growing very nicely. So as I stated before, 1 became 2, and that one became 3. However, it seems to really be picking up speed here. So it looks like we have basically 1 that became 2, and now 2 that are becoming 4 here, it looks like. So we're going to go ahead and separate these right now. Give them a little bit more room. Looks like there's a little thing right here. Another interesting development here. So, I don't know if you can see this right here. Let me try to zoom in a bit. We've got snails in here. It's interesting, they either stick on the walls or they actually, oh, here's some more over here too. They actually move too, you know, it's like if you watch them long enough, they actually move. And sometimes they float upside down. Oh, here's one right here too. They float upside down, this one right there. And then they eat the stuff on the top. It's kind of funny. Interesting watching them. Oh, focus, focus, focus. So they just kind of slowly swim. And yeah, it's interesting development here. So from what my understanding is that they eat the algae, clarify the water a little bit. They also detox the hardness out of the water because they need calcium to form their shells. And they also multiply really quickly too. So I don't know how quickly, but you can see right here, we've got a few of them right here creeping around. So they actually take some of the hardness out of the water. So I thought that's interesting because we have really hard water here. So could get rid of some of that calcium and magnesium that's in here. So that would be interesting. Let's see what happens with that. So the 3 birds have returned. They pretty much come over here, I would say probably about 50% of the daytime they're out here. basically just having the all-you-can-eat buffet right here. So they're just going to work on the mayflies that are emerging from the pond area, which is what's been happening here at the end of May, in fact, into June. So they've been at this for the last 2 weeks or so, and this is, it used to be just one. A lot of times it is just one. One of them is super hyperactive, and it really likes to hunt. And so it actually hunts so much that it feeds the other two. It was initially just one, but it started feeding the second one too. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if that's the male trying to court a female or two. And maybe the females are carrying eggs or something like that, or something that they're not as active as the male, and the male's just foraging for food. But anyway, they do this all the time. So it's just crazy. Let's see, there it did. It fed one and then fed the other one. So yeah, it's basically just mayflies that are emerging from the water. I actually saw one happen too. So what happens is they stay as water nymphs for about 9 months or so. 9 or 10 months, maybe 11, something like that. I think it's been about that long period of time since there's been no chlorine in it. So I suspect that's when it happened. As they're maturing almost all simultaneously at the end of May and into June here. And so what they do is they shed their skin, and that's what all that crap is right there. It's not lemon pulp, which is what I originally thought it was, since I put so many lemons in there. But that's not what it is. It's actually skin. And so what happens is they stay as water nymphs for about 9 or 10 months. And then when it comes time to emerge from the water, they shed their skin and they become flies, and then they fly away. And then that's what these guys are taking out right now. They're basically taking them out as they're coming up. They do it so fast that it's like you can't even see it practically half the time. You really have to be looking at it from a certain angle. But anyway, once these mayflies emerge from the water, they only live for 2 days, max. So what they have to do is when they emerge from the water, they basically have to find a mate, reproduce quickly, and basically the female lays the eggs, the male is done after fertilizing, and then basically they both die, you know, all within like a couple days there. So here's this one's feeding the other one. Next thing we're going to plant are some cattails. These are interesting plants. You might have seen these in certain swamp environments, especially in the southeast part of the country. But this makes a good bog plant. And so I just bought these. I really had trouble finding them other than by seeds. This was the most cost-effective way to do it. And I mean, this was only $4 for 200 plus seeds. This is what it looks like right here. So it looks almost like dandelion seeds or something that blow around in the wind. It's tiny, 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 tiny little seeds. So they have certain environmental requirements here. So one thing is, I think in order for these things to grow, along with that, I bought some nice heated pads here for planting. So I got a 2-pack of these on Amazon for 24 bucks. I think it's a great deal, only $12 a piece. These are going to come in handy for many vegetables and other things we want to plant by seed. But for now, it's for the cattail. I want to get these guys planted. And I also bought some interesting little greenhouse planters right here. These are actually a great deal. Got these on Amazon, 10-pack for like 18 bucks. And these are nice, high quality little packets here. So this goes into there, and then this will cover on top and create kind of a little greenhouse. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get these planted. Okay, so I got 6 of these pods planted right now, these little mini greenhouse planter things right here. So, and I got them on the heat pad right here. And this is actually nice and warm to touch almost immediately. So it's pretty nice that it does this. It only uses 20 watts. So this is the temperature. It's about 87, 86, 84, in that range, 82. A cool spot right there, 79. So anyway, right around 80, looks like 82, 83, 84, something average. And ambient air temperature is currently 68 in here right now. So yeah, this is looking pretty good. So as far as the cattails that I put in about a pinch, about 10 or so, maybe per and then just put a little sprinkling of dust on top of it, or dirt on top of it, and that was all I did here. And filled up the tray with about halfway of water, and then I just set the whole thing in there. So that's going to suck that water up overnight probably, and then have a nice moist condition in there. And then once that happens, we'll probably see some steaming happening here. And these have adjustments, so you can vent if you want, adjust the vent, or just have it full close. I have it full close for now. Want to have a nice, warm, moist environment so these seeds can take root. Okay, doing a general update here. It's day 76, about 2.5 months in. So the daylilies are blooming nicely, although they're not getting the nourishment they need. And then the only thing that's really, I'll start out with the bad stuff. So the lily pads, for some reason, not sure what it is, but they're not looking too good here. It has been cloudy, abnormally cloudy and cool the last 6 weeks or so. It's been heavily overcast like it is today. It's not normally like this here. It's hard to get anything above 68 degrees. So I'm not sure if that's what's doing it. But other than that, everything else is flourishing. So the canna in particular, which is a tropical plant, is growing pretty nicely after being divided up. The water hyacinth is probably my favorite because it just keeps on multiplying. We originally had only 2, and now we have 5, and basically this has looked like it's going to ready to be split again. Second clump over there, third clump, and fourth clump. So and they're ready to be split again. So yeah, that's looking really good. Everything else is growing really nicely. We've changed a few things over here. This was getting a little too congested, so I moved it over. And that's really about it for changes. The fish are continuing to grow. Most active at the evening, right before dark. They're quite feisty. You see them like hunting for flies and other stuff at the surface. Other times they're pretty elusive. Unfortunately, every time I want to film them, they're elusive. But pretty consistent in the evenings. And so yeah, everything's looking pretty good here. I'm going to just keep dividing what we have. I don't think we need to add anything more other than the cattails that I just started from seed. But yeah, we hope that this will continue and divide stuff up. And then over here, water level continues to drop. We're down quite a bit now. It's not even summer yet. The snails, I don't know if the birds got them, or I don't see as many of them. Oh, there's some right there. The birds do get them, and then they spit them out because they're, you know, rock-like. But they'll fish them out and then spit them out. But anyway, it'd be interesting to see where that goes. Anyway, I think that would do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe if you did. Many videos to come in the future. Expecting a lot of changes here in summer. I think things will be coming along nicely. Anyway, stay tuned.